haven't always been okay. And I'm not always okay. I'm human. I do often hear, Jen, you're so strong. But at times inside, I'm screaming, I'm so tired of being strong. There have been mornings when I found myself on my bathroom floor, struggling to get up. But most importantly, I'm whole on my own. I've learned through the tough times that I can do anything, no matter what comes my way. Life is about celebrating the wins and the losses. You take the good from the tough times, walk through those dark patches with your head held high, let your values and your morals guide you. That's how you become unstoppable. And at the end of the day, you can rest easy knowing tomorrow will be a new day and you'll be more than okay. You'll be brilliant. Are you ready to embrace the best version of yourself? I'm Jen Helliwell, design and fashion creator, and I am on a mission to inspire, motivate, and uplift women to be just that through my platform and podcast, This Girl Can Talk. Hi, fabulous ladies. It's just me this week on my own, which seems a little scary, I'm not going to lie. So please bear with me. My gorgeous guest is unwell, so I decided to use the studio time to answer some of the flood of questions I have had from you amazing supporters since launching the website. Honestly, the support and love has been overwhelming in the best possible way. I can't put into words how grateful I am and excited. So thank you. Let's get to the real talk. The main questions I have had, or comments really, have been around courage and how I have found the ability to be brave enough to do and be what I am now. So I've decided to take it into a solo answering some of the questions I hope that will help. So here goes. What is the first thing that pops into your head when someone asks, how are you so brave? Honestly, I don't really see myself as brave. I guess you don't. I just show up, especially when life gets tough. It's not a choice. I just have to keep going. And the way I've done it is by staying true to who I am. It's not always been easy at all. It has been a real process behind closed doors with a lot of leaning on the right people for support. I was raised to always tell the truth, no matter what. It was instilled in me that lying was never an option. And if I did, it would always end badly. That moral foundation has stuck with me and helped me hold my head high, even in the darkest times. I know who I am and I trust myself. No matter what comes my way, no matter how scared or alone I feel, I know that I've got my own back now. I can survive on my own if I need to. And that's the real gift I've gotten from everything I've been through. Was there a moment or a specific turning point when you realized, hey, I can actually do this? Each tough moment in my life has had its own twists, and none have been easier than the other, I guess. I never know what's next, but none of us do. And what I've gained is trust in myself. What people say or do is out of my control. My power is in how I respond. It's all about owning who you are, even when you mess up. We're all human, none of us perfect. And as long as you own your mistakes, apologize when needed, and make those changes to your behavior, then you're doing the best you can in my book. I put off starting this podcast, especially solo episodes, because I was terrified of what others might think of me. I questioned if I was qualified, but then I realized I'm kind of overqualified, I guess, to share my own lived experiences. The key for me, I think, is making sure that my intentions are right. As long as you and I know what my why is, and it's clearly rooted in hope, help, and kindness, then I don't think you've got anything to lose. You're only here to share goodness and joy, or at least I am. If courage was a muscle, how did you start exercising it? Ooh, I love a good analogy. Courage is a muscle. I'm all about the gym and swimming and moving my body. So I like this one. Moving and being active is part of my mental wellness toolkit, I guess. It's what keeps me going and gets my day started. At times, exercising wasn't the healthiest habit of mine, but now it is a solid routine I am thankfully totally in control of. I work out for strength, stress relief, and to feel good. Who doesn't want that? I love seeing progress, but when I take a break, I definitely notice the losses. And I do think courage is the same. When you put yourself out there and then you get a positive response, it's that same rush, the kind of buzz and the motivation. Your brain gets hooked on that feeling and wants more, just like that gym high. So I started working on my courage muscle by just doing one thing, just starting. You know that old saying where start where you are? I guess that's the key. Next one. What was your first step into doing something that scared you? I have so much to share on this topic, and that will come in hopefully many future episodes. But for now, let me give you one example. I get a ton of comments about going to events on my own and how I managed to do that. And you're so brave to do that. And I think I've always been pretty good at doing it, thankfully. But now I actually find it quite liberating and honestly enjoyable. I often get so much more out of it. A few weekends ago, for example, I went on this incredible wellness retreat here in Dubai, where I knew nobody that was going. And it was a really big deal for me. Since going through what I have been going through, I have not traveled alone for anything other than business or very personal challenges, and definitely never to something where I'd be surrounded by complete strangers. I did know the retreat leaders, who are lovely, lovely women, but I had assumed that everyone else there would be attending alone, which made me feel more at ease, I suppose. Then the day before the retreat, I found out most people were coming in pairs or groups. Panic set in. But I shrugged it off and thought, "Oh, what's the worst that can happen?" And you know what? I absolutely loved it. I met incredible women who were so kind and like minded. I didn't feel any of those awful old insecurities like, I'm such a loser, I have no friends. And that was a huge win for me. And I also got confidence from people, the other women, telling me how brave they thought I was for showing up on my own. And it really reminded me of how far I've come. I know who I am, and I'm proud of how full my life is now. I know I've got wonderful friends I love and who love me in return. But most importantly, I'm whole on my own. I've learned through the tough times that I can do anything, no matter what comes my way. Life is about celebrating the wins and the losses. You take the good from the tough times, walk through those dark patches with your head held high, let your values and your morals guide you. That's how you become unstoppable. And at the end of the day, you can rest easy knowing tomorrow will be a new day and you'll be more than okay. You'll be brilliant. How have you kept going and stayed okay through everything? What is in your toolkit? I haven't always been okay, and I'm not always okay. I'm human. There are really, really tough days. Well, there have been, and there really is still going to be tough days. And I usually only share those with my closest friends, family, and therapist. Over the past few years, I've learned who to lean on and when to share and who not to share with, which has been a hard but beautiful lesson to learn. I do often hear, Jen, you're so strong. But at times inside, I'm screaming, I'm so tired of being strong and being okay. There have been mornings when I found myself on my bathroom floor, struggling to get up. But the thing I did was I always got up. And I'm proud to say that, yes, I am brave, but I can also admit that I haven't always been okay. And that's perfectly fine too. We are all human, and by sharing this and all that I share going forward, I hope I give you the space to embrace who you are and say, I am okay just the way I am. I'm a bit shaky. Um, I can show up just as I am. Almost 3 years ago, by some beautiful gift and chance, I discovered the book, The Universe Has Your Back by Gabby Bernstein. And it truly changed my life in so many ways. It didn't just change my perspective, it saved me and set me on a spiritual path in the lightest sense possible. It's not all woo woo and, I don't know, probably all these things you could make up in your head. I've never been particularly religious, but Gabby's approach, trusting something as your guide or your higher power or just greater than yourself, looking for little signs, meditating, affirmations, it just really resonated with me, whether it was just what I needed or I needed something. It helped me build my own practice that works wonders. It's not just for big leaps, it's become a daily ritual now, alongside working out each morning, ice bathing, and mindfulness. Here's what my mornings look like. I start with a 30 to 40-minute heavyweight workout session following Heather Robertson. She's this great girl. She does 12-week programs. They're all free on YouTube. I've been doing it for about 4 or 5 years now. But you find what works for you. If it's not heavyweights, it's something else. After that, I jump into a 3 to 4 minute ice bath while listening to a morning meditation from Gabby's app. This has been a real game changer for me. Then I shower, get ready, have breakfast and a cup of tea, and dive into my meditation cards, a little brief journal session. And journaling was never for me. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't stick to it. I wanted to, but I found a way of doing it where it's just tiny short entries, and that's manageable for me. So again, find your thing. I do 2 readings each morning, one from the Pivot to Yearbook and the other from the Language of Letting Go. And then only then after that do I open my laptop. The emails, the Instagrams flood in, and I allow the day to begin with my mind clear and calm. But if during the day I feel overwhelmed or anxious, I tune into a calming podcast or I call a friend. I have an amazing therapist weekly, and I take medication for my long-standing anxiety disorder. Mental wellness is now my top priority, something I neglected for years while putting others first. But it's like the rule on the airplane. You have to put on your own mask first. Only by caring for yourself can you truly show up for others. I also think wellness comes from knowing what you want and what you don't want. I'm done saying yes to things that don't resonate with me. If I can't avoid them, I put on my big girl pants, show up and get through it, even if it's scary. On fear, honestly, I think anything worth doing should come with some fear attached. Without it, there's less growth. When things succeed, if you're unattached to the outcome or sure everything will work out, it's been the most transformative part of my journey. Every time something didn't go as planned, or I let myself down, or did something I'm not proud of, I've always found a lesson in it and grown from the experience. I guess I've often heard people say life's just not fair, and sometimes it's hard to argue with that. There are moments when things happen that feel incredibly unfair, and it seems like good people shouldn't have to go through certain struggles. I believe that too. But I do believe in the power of our minds, perception, and the choices we have. In any situation, you can choose to come from a place of lack or choose to see it as an opportunity for learning, understanding, and growth, even when that's really, really tough. Have you ever had a "what have I gotten myself into" moment? How did you push through that? This one, the answer is absolutely yes. However, I think I'm going to leave it to be covered in another pod episode. Let's say just keep listening. What do you tell yourself when imposter syndrome kicks in? Ooh, Okay, so I turn to WhatsApp because I have two best friend groups there who I lean heavily on. They're my lifelines, my biggest cheerleaders, and I love them with all my heart. I highly recommend getting your besties in group chats if you don't have them already. It is such a game changer. Kath, Raj, Kirst, and Rach, I love you, angels. I also have a wonderful community of women here in Dubai, all in similar fields, who lift me up as I hope I do them. It's such a beautiful thing to be surrounded by women who genuinely want each other to succeed. But it wasn't always this way. I had to go out and find it. It took courage and pushing through those self doubts like, they wouldn't want me to be friends with them, or why would they want me in their group? But I had to refocus my self talk, get crystal clear on my why, and keep it all at the forefront of my mind. Then I just started reaching out. It's kind of in a non weird way, like dating. And if certain people don't want you in their circle, then that's totally okay. It just means it wasn't meant to be, or maybe it wouldn't have been a good fit anyway. Rejection is definitely protection, trust me. Keep trying, keep showing up, and stay true to your morals and your values. You'll find your way. I'm still finding mine, but it does get easier. If you ever think what makes me so rubbish compared to them, make a list and counteract it. Think about all the things you've done for others and how people appreciate them, the way you help them. When you know deep down that you're coming from a place of love and service, then I don't really think you can fail. What's the one thing people misunderstand about courage? Sorry, I lost my way. A lot of people confuse courage with cockiness. And I used to think people who celebrated themselves were just kind of big upping themselves. But now I realize that says a lot more about me than it does about them. Everybody, and I mean everybody, deserves to love themselves and shout about it from the rooftops without anyone else passing judgment. Negativity and hate comes from others' feelings of lack. So it's best just to ignore it. I know it's easier said than done, but after facing having my character torn down for the past few years, I had to get way stronger. Really, really focus on who I am and block out other people's opinions. I had no choice but to get stronger, learn and know myself inside out, and tune out everyone else's opinions. In some ways, I'm truly grateful for the experience because it really did show me who I am, and now the world, I guess, if they care to know. But honestly, I didn't really need that external validation. I've always had it within me. If you know who you are, try your best, and do everything with the best intentions, then that's definitely enough. You're doing just fine. What's the hardest thing you've done to date, and how did you feel afterwards? Ooh, I definitely haven't faced my hardest challenge yet. That's, of course, still to come. But the nice thing is, I'm not afraid of it. I know now I have the tools to get through anything life has to throw at me. And that's a pretty empowering place to be. I'll dive deeper into these topics in future episodes, but I'd certainly say battling anorexia for over 15 years has been one of the hardest. It came with long, impatient stays that were lonely, frightening, and full of loss and sadness. Losing my grandfather last year was incredibly difficult. The grief is not linear and it's ongoing. Launching this podcast is huge. Changing career and stepping back from the main intensity of my family business roles has been a challenge, but I'm facing that fear and loving every minute of it so far. And then I suppose moving forward, there's that 4-letter word, LOVE. I have not gone anywhere near that yet, but I know that will be a challenge when the time comes. But for now, it's one day at a time, healing, growing, getting stronger and braver every day. Is bravery something you have to get over, or can you learn it as you go? No, I don't think it's something you can get over. I think it's like a continuous whip. And by that, I mean, I used to always laugh at that when I was working in London, WIP. It's a work in progress, right? Which I think is beautiful as we get the chance to just kind of get better and better at it. When was the last time you surprised yourself with how brave you were? I think it's today. Everyday little things, but today, because it wasn't supposed to be a solo episode and I could have just cancelled. But I did one solo episode before and I just felt a bit off. Like I used a teleprompter and when I watched it back, I just felt a bit stiff. And anyone that knows me, I'm not really stiff. So here I am doing this impromptu solo episode. And honestly, I'm proud of myself. I haven't had a blow dry, washed my hair myself, but I did wash my hair. It's not the best job. But I'm here truly authentically. And let's see how this goes. Full disclaimer, I am using the teleprompter as a little safety blanket. I'm not really following it. You can probably tell. But my mantra is progress, not perfection. So I'm trying. Okay. What's your favorite feel good moment when looking back at how far you've come? Um, that's a toughie because there have been so many moments, but one of the best was when I launched my website because I was so scared of it. And the flood of support and love from so many people was so incredible. It was such a scary day, and I had no idea what to expect. But the encouragement I received gave me so much hope. It reminded me that I could achieve my goal of helping others, which is one of my core values, service. That's all I want to do, help, using my own experience, strength, and growth, but always only ever from a place of positivity and forward momentum. Life is way too short for negativity or holding on to the past. I'm only carrying the good lessons with me and moving forward with love and excitement about what's ahead of me. So, if you've enjoyed today's solo episode, please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you'd like to hear more, please send in your questions for me to answer. I can only give you what you want if you ask for it. And it's my hope to make this space what you want and need. I'll be back next week with a fabulous guest. Don't worry, it won't just be me again. I hope. So until then, get up, get dressed, and let's get fabulous together. Thanks for listening.